Welcome. Funny but foul. Share and subscribe. Tell your mom. Tell your dad. Tell that girl that you used to like, but now she's a hoe. Tell that dude that fucked your sister. Tell him. Watch it, man. Watch it together. Grow together. You know what I'm saying? Power. What up? Back at it every week on Sundays, God's day, or it's our day. Here with my boy, as always, Senor Hector, and yours truly, the one guy that made it through the darkness, and now into the light, Chagabashlu.
And we back.
What's going on?
We back.
Back at it, daddy. You know what I'm saying? Back at it. I feel good, man. Even though every fucking week I tend to have only so many hours of sleep on Sundays for some reason.
Why? What happened this time?
Dude, went to a little party. I told you, dog. I went outside. I parked my car and I was like, motherfucker, there's like 40 people outside. How many people are inside? I went inside, walked into a room. I told you this.
It's fucked.
And, you know, no judgment. You know, if you like it like that, you know, no judgment. I mean, everybody's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's not me per se, but it might be you. You know, who knows?
Sure.
There was a dude getting fucked in the ass by a fucking peg. I was like, what the fuck kind of shit is this, man?
What kind of parties are you going to? This is just like a regular thing to see.
Listen, man, I don't know how much you know about my friends outside of you.
Literally
some
nothing.
of them. See, this is the thing with me. I have friends I've known for 20 years that don't know the rest of my friends.
Yeah, that's pretty typical of a lot of people.
And I have a lot of these guys. I could probably name like 25, 30 dudes that I'm like very close with.
How do you have 25 to 30 dudes you're very close with?
Think about how many jobs I've had.
It doesn't matter.
No,
I've had a lot. I've known a lot of people too, but close? Fuck, I got.
It's hard because
I don't.
a lot of
I don't do
people.
that.
A lot of people. You also have to understand, like, I don't think you've switched as much as I have switched.
What do you mean by switch? I've done
In
a
the
lot
same environment. You've been probably. I'm not saying that you're stagnant, but I
Sure.
just think I am ADHD in life, and I feel like
So then, to that point, you would think that you wouldn't be able to stay close with these people because due to that ADHD that you so
no,
that-
because
that you so say.
I have a thing with me where it's like I like to keep in touch with people. Like
Mhm.
I'll give you a call.
Sure.
I'll give Slick a call.
Yeah.
I'll call another 19 dudes just like that.
You have time to call 19 dudes.
I mean, think about it. Think about what I do for work. I got a lot of time on my hands.
I thought you were
Can
busy, bro.
Can you? I am busy, but there's
I'm busy,
times
but I'm
of-
not busy.
There's times of relief.
Sure.
Can you play that one on repeat or no?
I don't think so.
Damn, that was a good one. That was a good
Was.
one. That was the best one. You watched fights last night? I didn't. Let's be honest here.
No, man. I didn't know
Fights
there
were-
were fights, man.
Dude, if Brunson, listen, dog, I get that you have a ESPN fucking thing going on, but if Brunson is the guy that you're gonna
Well, it's a
base everything on,
It's a fight. It's a fight night, wasn't it?
yeah, but he can't be your main event even for a fight night. Who is Brunson? I barely know this guy.
But if it's, who are you gonna? That
You know what I'm saying?
The problem becomes, who are you then gonna put? You can't put somebody that would be on a numbered card, because then what the fuck's the point? You may as well just put them on the numbered card.
I know, but if you're gonna have like a Brunson, I would argue that you have two fighters like that. Like you'd have a female and a male version of Brunson. Like you'll have Brunson and another co-main event that's a female, or
Right.
you'll have two Brunsons at different weight classes. And what I mean by that is like a guy that's as well known. Brunson is a mid-tier fighter.
Yeah.
Like I could be super liberal and say mid-high tier, but I'd be lying to you. He's
Well,
a
'cause I think
mid-tier fighter.
What is he like? He's top 10, isn't he? I think he's top 10.
Those ratings mean dick. But you know what I'm saying? Those ratings don't mean stuff because there's guys that have lost and been like sixth, and the second guy is not getting a title shot, but the sixth guy is. Those
Yeah,
rankings
it's
don't
true.
make
It's
sense.
true. Yeah.
There's no like math on those.
Mhm,
There's no real thing.
Yeah.
But let's move into the important factors. We're
What are we
talking about
next week.
talking about next week, Daddy.
Week.
Next week,
Oh
Daddy.
man, I'm excited for that one. What?
It's you know, our boy
What-
Stipe.
what are you going
and,
for, man? Ford Escort.
It's hard to say, man, because
Ford Escort or Stipe.
Stipe Ford Escort. Stipe is has noticeably gotten chinnier over time.
Bro, you got once.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like just the way he's talking. He took a lot of damage in those 2-3
Talking.
fights.
He has always been.
No, it's been getting worse.
Dude, that Ohio accent does not help him out at all.
No, it doesn't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, yeah, he's gotten worse though.
If you watch the embeddeds from like before,
Yeah, no, he's never been like
people back then would be like, I don't understand what this guy's saying.
he's never been like a literature major, anything like that.
Literature major.
Yeah, what do you call that? Lit major?
He's never been what?
Like okay, you know, like a poet. He's not a poet. You know, Stipe is a fucking
It's not
fighter.
even- no, it's not
he's
even that.
gonna have
I'm not even
bad.
talking about his vocabulary. I'm talking just like the way he speaks.
You think that's an accent though? Because there's a lot of Ohioan people I know that don't have that fucking same thing going on.
How many Ohio people do you know?
There's I actually used to work in a company that was 3 of them, and this was the past company. You know the
That's
company.
funny. Cause I'm like, we're
And it
fucking
was
Vancouver, man. How many
it-
people from Ohio are you meeting? Like, there should
No. I'm
That's what I'm
just
saying, like-
talking about 3. I know.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
it.
I'm
That's
like,
all I
it's-
know.
no, but he's got that Cleveland accent.
I don't think that's 100. It might be partially, but I still think he got chinny because if you look at how many times he got hit by Daniel Cormier, he got hit a lot, and he's not like he's a complete different fighter now. I can make the complete argument. He's a complete different fighter from now
Mhm.
to when he first fought Ngannou, and so is Ngannou. Ngannou was coming off a fucking.
The thing with Ngannou, I don't think anything has changed with him in regards to his not anything, but very little has changed with regards to how he fights in terms
100%.
of his skill.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing, his biggest hurdle, and his biggest problem has always been his head. No, his head.
Who?
Ngannou. His head,
what do
his
you mean?
mentality.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's
I
been his
thought you
biggest
meant
problem.
like concussions. or
No.
something, yeah.
I meant like mentally, like
Yeah,
getting over
he's not.
things.
He's
Ner-
you don't. If you don't have enough fucking time and
the-
you do it
the
too
nerves,
late,
The thing, because with him,
you're not gonna have it.
the Lewis fight was just terrible,
Shit.
right?
Shit. Let's
And
be honest
you
here.
got to think about that.
Shit.
Why? I mean, Lewis fights how he does. Like that's just what he does. He's a big fat lazy fuck, but he wins. Like, that's just
Lewis
what he
is
does.
exactly like Ngannou. None of them have technique.
I would argue that actually Lewis has better technique than Ngannou.
100%. But Lewis has been fighting like for 15 years. That's why.
Yeah. Like I would argue that actually Lewis actually has a decent.
There's some guys
decent
that will
boxing
never
technique.
learn like legitimate form, and in practice sometimes they can do it,
Mhm.
but in actual fight, it goes down the drain because they kind of some people they're not calm in fights.
Well,
They're not
Ngannou,
cerebral enough.
you're right. Ngannou got into the game pretty late. Like he basically
Super late.
he was.
He got into
wasn't
late.
he- what-
He got in.
How did they find him? Wasn't he just working in a mine? And they're like, "Yo, you look."
No,
pretty-
he was in France.
No, he was in Cameroon.
No. That's where he, that's where he was born and grew up.
They speak French in Cameroon, though.
No, I understand that, but he moved to France and he was homeless in France.
Was that how it was?
That's how it was, and he got a gym membership.
I thought he was in
And-
Cameroon. They
and
found him
he's
there.
and somebody is like, "Hey, listen, if there's a fight going on, I'll give you a free pass. I'll give you
Interesting.
food." And he was okay. I'm down. And from there,
Can you pull that up? Because I'm really
Yeah,
curious
yeah,
now.
for sure.
Yeah.
split up. Keep it going though. Keep it going.
Yeah, but so I'm still picking Stipe because I think he still has it. I don't think he's I was just gonna say just pull up his Wikipedia. Please just be curious to see what he did because it'll tell you like early life and shit. But let's see. Oh yeah, right. Let's scroll up there.
You want this background?
real life
Ngannou was born and raised in village of
Yeah, yeah.
Cameroon. He lived in poverty, had a very formal education growing up. Nganou's parents divorced when he was 6 years old. He was sent to live with his aunt
Oh, he started
at 10
boxing in
years old,
Cameroon.
working in a thing lack of funds. As a youngster, he was approached by several gangs in the village to join them. However, Ngannou refused. Instead, decided to use his father's negative reputation to steer fighters as a motivation to do positive and pursue boxing. Oh, I didn't know this. At 22, began training boxing. Okay, so there you go. At 22, he began.
in Cameroon though. Interesting. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, only for a year.
Initial
though.
reluctance from his family after training for a year. Ngannou stopped training due to illness. He did various odd jobs to make ends meet. Until the age of 26, he decided to head to Paris. So, right? So this was the France thing.
Yeah.
Pursue professional boxing. However, upon reaching Europe, he was jailed for 2 months in Spain for illegally crossing borders. I've met many dudes like this where they're like family guys. They're like grandpas and shit.
Yeah.
And they just want to be with their family, and they're about to fucking die, and they die at like ICE picks them up in like America.
Yeah.
And they die in prison. After Ngannou reached Paris, he had no money, no friends, no place to live. After living homeless on the streets, he began training for free in August 2013 under Didier Carmont. How do you like that pronunciation
Pretty
for your
bad.
ball sack? How do you,
Didier. Just Didier.
Didier Carmont.
I don't know if there's a.
Listen, I make a right? Being a fan of Mike Tyson, Ngannou was originally interested in learning how to box until his coach introduced him to the sport of MMA.
Well, you got
So
it.
I
Pretty
had
interesting.
80% of that right.
Yeah, no, that's most fair. That's just interesting. I didn't note the whole he was already training in Cameroon.
Some guys, okay, are so cerebral, like Fedor, like fuck you, who's that Mexican heavyweight?
Kane.
Cain Velasquez, respect. Powerful Cain Velasquez, not a big shit talker, just pure skill, and that comes from years and years and years and years of doing this to the point where you can separate your personality and the thing that you're training in.
Mm-hmm.
Ngannou, when like he barely knows English, okay, and that's not bad. I've been there, but I was never this cocky. Like he's so cocky, and I think that when you're that cocky, you rely on that, and if something happens that goes down, that affects you completely.
Oh yes, you're
Whereas
yes, yeah.
guys like Fedor, guys like Kane, not only are they men, but I mean that by that is not like men are better or whatever the fuck. What I'm saying is they stay true to who they are
Mm-hmm.
in losses and in wins, and that to me is like the most respectful thing. That's what separates like true champions from like guys that haven't been doing it long enough. So they have these up and down emotional roller coasters.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So who are you picking?
This is the thing. I'm suspect of Stipe's chin right now. After 3 wars with Daniel Cormier.
Were those even wars? Those are 2 rounders.
Wars!
2 rounders, bro.
They were 5-round fights. All of them finished in the third.
Second
Nope.
round.
That
Fir-
was
first,
that was a knockout.
First fight was.
I'm
like
talking
second round.
about the last fight,
Third
which
round.
which was
Third round.
yeah, but it was a war. You can't tell me that was not a war. I can pull.
War. I would call Dos Santos and Kane. That's a war.
No.
I'd call John Bones Jones and Gustafsson. That's a war.
Stipe versus
Ngannou 2.
Daniel.
Cormier. Yeah, Cormier 2. I mean, I don't think we want to watch the whole thing here because
No,
we're gonna waste time.
we just want to watch like let's just do strikes landed.
Sure. Stats.
Significant strikes. 181. You're telling me you get regular fights is at 181? Dude, are you
230. That's decent. Look at
fucking kidding me?
Look at the difference there. Stipe 130. No, look at total strikes. 135 of 244. Half as much. Didn't know that.
Dude, that's insane. Okay? And this is a crazy fucking fight, man.
I was there for that.
You were actually in.
Yeah, I was there with I was there with Emil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we bet on this. I fucking lost because I bet on Cormier. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, this is a good fucking night. This is also the Paul Costa and Romero night.
Yeah, this was
Fucking crazy.
This is a good night. Yeah, this is a good night of fights. Powerful.
Yeah, I was there in LA for that. That's crazy.
Good matchmaking by fucking Dana White for once in his life. So back to it. I think his suspect. I think.
Are you picking Ngannou though?
I'm gonna go with. If in the first round I see the movement, like first 30 seconds,
You'll know.
45 seconds, you'll have a way better indication now.
Yeah.
I don't know which type of Stipe we're gonna see. If we see Stipe before Daniel Cormier first fight, if we see that Stipe, championship Stipe hasn't been knocked,
yeah.
then it's
Done
it's a
deal.
wrap.
Yeah.
But if we see the guy that's like second round Stipe here, where he was just so
Yeah.
exhausted, he's
Yeah,
standing
yeah.
up, and Cormier is exhausted, and they're
Yeah,
just landing shots on each other, just clean shots, not very heavy though.
Yeah.
Clean, you land one Ngannou shot like that. So what I'll say this: if Stipe can withstand the first 2 rounds,
Mhm.
it's Stipe.
Yeah.
Powerful to that.
Speaking of power,
Speaking of power,
what are you talking about?
COVID. COVID, there's 2 ways of dealing with it. Most of the population has to deal with lessening their funds and different kind of lifestyle that they're living, and then there's the other fucking part of the population where they're getting fucking McLaren after McLaren every 2 weekends.
Who do you know that is just getting McLarens?
It's not I know, it's you see, like you have internet, right? So it's
You
like
have internet.
you when you have internet, you look
of
at this
course.
stuff. Of course,
Yeah,
it is
sure. Fine.
it is of course the same.
Fine.
So yeah, you're seeing these guys with fucking guy gets a Bugatti for his 21-year-old
I mean,
son.
I haven't seen this, but
There's so many. I'm just saying there's aspects
I
to
understand
it where
what you're saying.
a kid is getting like $100,000 car,
Okay.
and there's another kid who has to work 3 jobs and take care of his mom. There's a huge gap, and I'd say
Of course.
majority
Especially
is
here in Vancouver, we
yeah,
got that.
yeah. So majority of the population is like that, and some of the population is like this,
Mhm.
and that's where it strikes you because you always want what you can't have, man.
Always. Case.
And case in point. So, the other day I saw a sick car. Okay,
What'd you
I'm gonna
say?
pull this up.
What'd you say?
You know what a Ford GT is? The supercar?
There's like fucking 5 of those in Canada.
No, there's actually 12. 'Cause
Oh,
I
wow.
actually looked them up.
Wow, from 5 to 12. Wow, that's great.
No, there's 12 for sale, so that means there's at least like 50.
There's really like these were I know this car, man. They've made it for like a year.
Okay, how much do you think these cars are?
These are 100 grand.
100 grand?
I think when they came out, and I think now,
No,
if
what
you
do
get
you
the
think?
resale, I'll say 250.
I say we're not gonna find anything under 380.
Let's see. What do you got?
Tell me how I know this.
Because you looked it up.
Holla!
So stupid.
I don't talk shit, boy.
Oh wait, no, I meant 280 USD, so I was right.
What?
Yeah, 280 USD. 250 USD. How much is that in Canadian?
Oh, shut the fuck
How much is it?
up.
How much is it? How much is it?
It's like 350.
Yeah, there you go, there you
Yeah. Okay, fine. You're kind of right, but I mean that you're kind of just switching your thing based on what I said. If I didn't say that, you'd stick to
Yeah,
100.
I meant
Yeah,
Canadian.
shut the fuck up. So this is the new one. That looks sick.
Wait, what do you mean new one? Have they even released this? Let's see.
I think it's 2021. It's
Okay, there we go. Because I was like,
soon.
the fuck?
I don't like the inside. Looks like a fucking Yaris, bro. This
What Yaris do you know that has carbon
Hold
fiber
on.
inserts and a fucking Alcantara suede
hold
steering wheel?
on.
What the fuck? Where's the? Oh,
Fuck face.
Wait. Oh wait. So you're gonna compare a wrap?
No, it's not a wrap.
fucking
No, no,
wrap.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
this
no,
is a
no.
guaranteed a wrap.
No, this is not. I've had these. Listen to me. I'm not saying
This is
that
not
this,
real carbon
no,
fiber.
hold on. I'm not saying it is.
So then what do you?
I'm saying just when you see this, right? Yeah, it's more industrial, but the average person, not you, because you might actually be, you might actually be.
I should say this for later next time.
What do you mean?
You get stupid when you get high.
Why? No, I'm saying that you're not the general person. You're actually a lot more well-rounded when it comes to vehicles.
People who get this though are not like they don't get this by accident. They might actually. They might. You know, kids might get this, but I think this is probably gonna be limited run.
You don't think guys like rich kids like Justin Bieber just get cars like how much do you think Justin Bieber
No,
knows
but
about
this is gonna be
cars?
limited run probably, right?
No, 100%.
Yeah,
What I'm
so-
saying is that I just expected a little bit more. Looking on the outside, because you have two types of supercars. You have cars like Bugattis, where luxury interior supercar and luxury exterior supercar, right?
True.
Whereas this one, it's closer to the McLaren side of
Well,
things.
because this is supposed to be a
where-
performance car at the end of the day, not
Yeah,
just top speed, but like
yes.
overall handling. Because this is
Absolutely.
the whole thing is the Ford GT
Yeah.
was modeled after the original Ford GT
For
back
sure, yep.
in Le Mans,
Yeah.
a racing car, not just like a drag car, but an actual like take it around a track and fucking.
You didn't
beat
even
it.
hit it. I watched you
I
do
did.
it.
I did. You saw smoke come out twice. Relax. So this is supposed to be a proper racing car,
For sure.
and kids are gonna get it.
No,
Don't
I'm
get me
not
wrong.
saying I'm not
They
saying
will.
that. Yeah.
They will. But it's like a kid could also get a Ferrari.
Yeah, but there's something to this.
You know what I mean?
This-
No, I know. This is like a true.
There's
Like, if you
something
get
to
this on
The
purpose-
like the stance of this car, like this car, the rear tires are 380. You can get
Stance.
385.
Now you care about the stance.
No, not the stance. I'm not talking about like changing,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, the shape of the axle, camber, changing
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like these fucking infinities
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
talking about that. I'm just saying the shape of the wheels
Oh, yeah.
on the ground with the ass end. You
Mhm.
see how the car and the suspension is made. It's a beautiful car.
Oh, it
is
is.
what I'm
No,
saying.
the original was, and this even though the one that came out in 2005, 2006,
And
that one is gorgeous in my mind too.
one
Can
thing
you go
about
back to the exterior actually? Because this
For
one looks,
sure.
I haven't seen this. Got a second photo. Oh, that looks nice.
does that look nice?
You know what actually reminds me of the side scoops? Have you seen the new Corvette?
Look at that.
I don't like that
Hold on.
exhaust though.
Ford GT.
2005. Second.
Hold on.
Second gen?
Rear.
Oh.
We'll just go rear.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the.
That's way
second gen.
better.
Yeah.
That's 385. Look how wide these look. This looks better than this one for sure. I agree with
But
you.
I'm guessing, this has to perform better than that one though. So I guess.
Oh,
there's a reason
well,
why.
it's. I mean, it's. Of
That-
course.
But that's what this car was always about.
No, I
Right?
understand,
So I get
Hector.
it.
But
I get
when
it.
you're not doing this 100% for the track. Sometimes you're doing this for, customers, and they're not gonna ever give a fuck. They might care a lot more about a little bit more luxury.
But what I
than
mean is,
performance.
the intent of this car is for that. Like the
Absolute-
designers who made this car,
absolutely.
they're
But
not.
when you're selling to a customer, you're still gonna have to decide: are you gonna stick to the performance side, or are you gonna go the Bugatti way, or you're gonna go to the Bentley way, or you're gonna go to this? Of course, if you have cars like this that do actually race outside, and that's where this idea came of, then I agree. You can do it like this.
Mhm.
But personally, this is like one of my favorite supercars. I would put this top 3 ever.
Mhm.
And the fact that they don't put enough luxury on the inside, I don't care about the speed as much when I'm a consumer driving it in the streets. Because I rather have something that I can get out of comfortably, sit in
I
comfortably.
think that's my point, though, is that the designers don't give a fuck about you driving it in the streets because they made it with one goal in mind:
What
a
I'm saying
proper
is,
race car.
yes, you are correct. To be a true lover.
I'm not saying this is like my like. Would I make it
No,
this way?
no,
Probably
no,
not.
no. If
but
you're a
that's- I think-
hardcore fan,
yeah.
yeah, you go your way. But what I'm saying is, can't you just make another fucking trim? Like, can't we just do this? Why can't we have both? Like, there's performance.
Sure.
There's performance Mac fucking computers that are $80,000. It's a workstation.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a fucking laptop where you can fucking do GarageBand and record your fucking grandma as she dies.
Sure.
There's a variety. Why can't we have that? This is a beautiful car. If you want sales for it, if you don't want to go under Tesla for the 7th year in a row, do it like that.
They don't
you
do it for
bitch.
sales though. Well, isn't this only like what 100 cars gonna come out of these?
Yeah,
Maybe
but
five?
you could change that, is what I'm saying.
But they won't. That's the point of this car. It's not supposed to be an available car. It's supposed to be like the whole point of this Ford GT. There's a reason why they didn't make one for like 50 years. It was never meant to be a street car. They made it once, like for 5 years for the original Le Mans series, and then during the anniversary,
If
they're
you're
like, all right, let's make a new one. And then when they made the new one, they're like, let's basically make a copy of that. But for now, it was never supposed to be a street car.
if you're a hardcore fan, you're correct.
But I'm not even saying that I am. I'm just saying from their point of view. That's the point. They never.
So who is they? Ford as a
Yes.
whole, like the executives?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
no.
There's a reason why they
No.
only released a limited amount of these cars.
I think
There's
Ford.
100% a
I
reason.
think Ford designers have been pushed this way by whoever started Ford initially. You know what I'm saying? Whoever opened up Ford initially.
Except that's. Have you seen the movie Ford vs Ferrari?
But any executives at any level in any business wouldn't you say that they would push for absolute sales, right? They want money, right?
It seems to me that you actually don't know the story behind this car, because if you did, then you know that this is actually the exception to what you just said. Do you know how this car started?
Wasn't it for drag racing?
No.
What
Do
was it
you
for?
know what the Le Mans series is? 24 hours of
Yeah,
Le Mans.
yeah, yeah. You're saying this was like long distance, huh?
Long distance 24-hour race around a track. And so Ford. So here's have you heard of the movie called Ford versus Ferrari?
I've seen parts of it
Parts,
on
okay.
YouTube. Yeah.
It's actually a really good film, and I'd recommend you watch it. It's got good actors, good all that stuff. It's got some racing too. But basically, the story is that early in the 60s,
Yep.
Ferrari was trashing Ford. They're like, Ford's a piece of shit. They can't make any good cars. It basically came down. This is actually a real story. It came down to Enzo Ferrari actually insulting. I forget the guy's first name because it was like one of the grandsons, Ford, like the head of Ford, whatever. I don't know if his name was like Robert Ford, whatever the fuck it was. He insulted him. He said, "You guys make shit cars. You'll never be able to like compete with us." So then Ford actually made it his mission to beat Ferrari.
Wrong guy.
In the no, I didn't say it's Robert Ford.
Yeah.
I'm saying it was Ford. So look up if you in the meantime I'll explain this.
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari, and then you can look up the plot. So then Ford was like, "Okay, cocksucker, you're gonna say that I can't make a car. I'm gonna make a car that's actually gonna beat your fucking car in a race." Problem was Ford didn't have a racing division.
Yeah.
They had nothing. Their top selling car at the time was a Ford Mustang, which is a great car, but it's not a race car. And Ford doesn't do racing cars.
Says quick little thing here. It
Carroll
says
Shelby was the guy
Yeah.
who they contracted. So Ford he's
the
an
viewers. Shelby used to be.
he's an independent car maker who got hired by Ford.
So that is that's
and
probably
that's what I'm saying. Let
what
me
you
finish
wanna
the story.
be.
Yeah. So this is what's crazy. Ford decided, okay, we want to beat these fuckers, but we have no idea what we're doing. So what do? One of the executives over at Ford was like, okay, give me some time to find a designer, find a guy who's gonna be able to fucking do this for us. So at the time, Carroll Shelby, who people know as Shelby Cobra, as a Shelby Mustang, he was making cars on his own, in his like one-off cars. He would make custom cars for people. That was his business, because he's a small guy, so he's gonna make one-off cars. But he had a history in racing. He was a race car driver before he was a designer, and then he got injured one time, and then he quit racing, so he just started designing cars. So they hired him, and they said, listen, this is the task. We want you to beat these Ferrari motherfuckers in the best race in the world, which at the time was the Le Mans series. So Ford gave Shelby free will. Like, they're like, do
anything. Yeah.
what you need to. Like, we're going to give you money, just fucking.
Why did he do that?
Why did he accept?
No, why did he pick Shelby?
Because they wanted it to be an American product. And Shelby was the best, in their eyes, the best American car designer that they could find.
Wasn't he also a driver?
He was, but he had to quit because he got injured, and then he stopped racing. It was either that or he had like heart problems. Yeah, heart problems. Yeah, that's what it was. And then he had to stop racing.
Yeah.
But he still loved it, so that's why he partnered up with, I forget what the driver's name was. There's actually a team of 3.
Miles.
Yeah, Miles.
Yeah.
But it's actually a team of 3 because when you do the Le Mans, you have to do it in like shifts. You can't just race for 24 hours. So yes, he teamed up with him, and then they started the whole thing, and that's how the Ford GT was
What's
created.
the shifts in Le Mans?
I think it's max 6 hours that you can race at one time.
At one point.
Yeah. So yeah, you do
So taking
shifts.
a piss in the next 6 hours is out of the question. Like,
I think they had
they
like
had bags and
they had
shit
really bad
attached to their nutsack.
It's very like
savage.
very very
Savage.
Oh dude, this is one of the
food out of the, like.
This
dude,
is one of the
things,
craziest race things you can do as a race car driver.
Yeah.
This is insane. A 24-hour
Any race car driver though.
No, but a 24-hour race.
Yeah, but
is insane because to be able to have the alertness at the beginning,
6
and
hours
at the end,
and
even imagine your second shift having to be that alert.
No, I guarantee they
Crazy.
have like different sleeping patterns. And
so it's insane. And so so the bottom line is that Shelby was given free will to create this racing car with no plan in mind of making this a consumer car.
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about this story is that because
so these guys were hitting, how many Ks do you think they were hitting?
Oh, bro, top speed?
Yeah.
250, 300.
350.
Yeah, there you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In 65 they were hitting 350.
And this is
what the fuck are they hitting now, bitch?
A bit faster than that, but this is also the other crazy part is no safety.
Yeah.
So like people would. There was actually one I think the deadliest motorsport incident of all time happened not at this specific race, but at the Le Mans. I forget one of the years. Car flipped over into the grandstands, killed like 40 people.
He entered the Daytona too.
Yeah, they did a bunch.
Yeah.
But
NASCAR.
Yeah, Carroll Shelby is.
That's the cool thing about Ford, right? You can go do
Iacocca. That's who it was.
France.
Iacocca was the executive. Iacocca is also behind the design of the Ford Mustang.
Right.
So Lee Iacocca is one of the most famous car.
And what is a
executives
Mustang
of all
to you?
time.
This is not like in written down. But
Like,
what
how
is
do
a
I feel
Mustang
about
to
it?
you? Well, what is a Mustang
What
to
does
you
it-
relative towards the GT?
Oh, it's not even close.
No. I
Oof.
understand, but what does it remind you of? Doesn't it remind you of like a more luxurious, less horsepower GT? Isn't that what it's pushed for? Isn't it pushed for like consumer basis?
Oh, it is. It was
Yeah.
top selling car of all time for Ford.
So can't you argue that you can have one that looks like a Ford GT that has more luxury? It would really push it.
I don't think they want.
Like you know the
to-
R8. You know
I-
the R8.
You know, honestly, I'm not even sure, and this is me totally speculating.
Speculation,
No
yeah.
idea. I have to verify this. I have a feeling that Carroll Shelby,
Mhm.
because he was the designer of the original Ford GT, probably has like a stipulation
All
saying
rights.
that this cannot be sold as a consumer
Vehicle,
like
blah,
don't
blah,
water
blah.
down my car.
Yeah.
I think he probably does because
That's
he's still alive. I think
These guys
actually.
are artists, man. You know,
You
these
know,
guys are
100%.
artists. So it's like,
And-
of
and-
course, I get that. 100%.
and especially being like a former race car driver, it's like he's 100% gonna be like super anal about.
Yeah, you can't
about the whole
change the
thing.
Mona Lisa. You can't sell. You know, so it's
So
the same thing.
So there's probably limitations on what they
For
can do to the car. So I
sure,
think,
for sure.
that's totally speculating.
For sure.
I wonder if
Yeah.
he's still alive. I think if he's not still alive, I think he just died actually, Carroll Shelby.
Yeah.
But yeah, legendary guy.
Legendary car, man. You know those XFs that are out there right now, like
Uh,
that.
XF.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Jaguars.
I've seen a few of those. Yeah, those
Yeah,
pretty slick.
this is where they came out of.
That's fucking nuts. Imagine
we're
racing,
looking at the
imagine racing in that thing.
XK120.
Imagine racing in that open
Fuck.
top with goggles,
But you have no.
one single seatbelt.
The only reason that's different is because right now we don't have something that we can relate to as far as that.
What do you mean?
Like we have nothing to. Well, we compare it to. We have something to compare it to. But those people that drove it that year, that was the safest way that they could drive it during that time in that.
Oh
period of
yeah, no,
time.
I understand.
So they have no. They have no insight of what it's like to actually be safe, and we have no insight
Well,
relative to 40 years from now.
Yeah, they do because people were dying. So safety.
No, 100%.
Safety's
But
just like let's have less people die.
yeah, but I think that rate of people dying to them was normal.
Well, it wasn't because they kept trying to advance safety.
No, true.
That's what I mean.
But how long did it take for them to hit, like, you know, even in the 80s, they still haven't hit.
Yeah.
Some 80s cars don't have seatbelts in the back. And some of them, the best ones, have the ones that just go over your stomach.
Honestly, all it
So
takes
you
is
could
just
still get fucking.
all it takes is incidents, and then people making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
So it like you actually you hit a good point where you're like, it was just normal to them. Yeah, it's probably true
Yeah,
that maybe
100%.
but then somebody came around or something happened where someone's like, you know what?
Innovation always
Maybe-
happens. But
maybe-
how big of a step?
Maybe 50
That's
people
important.
shouldn't die every day. Maybe less, and then people start
Yeah.
looking into it, and then they eventually start breaking down. Same thing with Formula One.
Yeah.
It took Ayrton Senna, who was the greatest driver at the time, to die in a race in a racing incident for them
Mhm.
to be like, shit, maybe we should like
should change
try
this
and
up.
and since then,
Relatively better.
no one's died. I was gonna say
Yeah.
technically one guy died, Jules Bianchi, but he didn't die at the scene.
Yeah, so you know, race car drivers are slowly starting to become celebrities. 100%.
Well, they used to be bigger celebrities than they are now. Actually,
I think it's coming back.
I don't know.
Who's that British
Lewis
black
Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton? Good-looking guy. He knows how to market himself.
Yep.
He's good with words. He's not crazy as
Yeah,
far as like
he's
he's
a-
very
he's a great-
educated.
great media personality.
he's probably closer to somebody like somebody who's well-rounded, well-educated, comes from a good family. His father actually helped him a lot and paid for everything.
Lewis Hamilton is one of the few cases of a race car driver coming from a background of a self-made background.
Yep.
Like his dad
Yep.
busted his ass
Busted
to
ass.
get him to where, and it's so strange because like to even get the idea to do that, like I'm talking about Lewis's father, to be like, I'm gonna try
It's
and
the
support
same
my kid like
Hector though.
No, because you don't realize just
I'll tell you
how
why.
crazy the barrier of entry
Yeah.
for this sport is.
Yeah, it's
You could
millions.
have 1,000 of those kind of dads in similar situations trying to do the same thing for their kids. They will never even get close to where Lewis did. And I'm not even talking about a Formula One champion. talking about just to even get into like Formula One or even the series below or the series below that.
So how many Formula One drivers are there in the world?
Hold on. Does you mean like how many there on the circuit now, or how many could be a Formula One driver?
No, at one point, so there's only so many cars, right?
Yeah, it's just 18 drivers. That's it.
Worldwide.
It's one series. I'm talking. It's like the fucking smallest of the smallest of the smallest. Like, it's
So
insane.
what can we argue? What can we relate that to? Like any other sport that have that little many people in the world?
That's one of the
That's crazy.
That
yeah.
is one of the
If
craziest.
you really think
barriers
about
of
it,
entry.
that's crazy.
The
And
o-
how much money do they get?
They're actually one of the top. The top drivers in that sport will be among the highest paid athletes in the entire world.
Are we talking more than football? It's
Yeah,
like soccer.
Yeah. Like
Soccer.
in that level.
Like Cristiano.
Like they have topped the top 10 Forbes lists.
Who do you think right now is the highest paid?
Formula One driver?
Yeah.
It's between Kimi Räikkönen, Sebastian Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton. I believe Lewis Hamilton is top right now. Just
Yeah, hold on.
oh, okay,
hold
sure,
on,
you can do this
hold
too.
on.
Yeah, let's say Forbes top 10 list. Yeah, no worth. Sure.
285.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look up Forbes.
I think he's like maybe top 30.
No higher than that. Well,
Yeah.
per year. Okay, so just look up Forbes top 10 sports stars or whatever, and that'll pull up some like 2020 or 2019 list athletes. And then say 2019 because 2020 was a bit of a shit show of a year.
Roger Federer. Wow.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Who knew tennis was?
Oh yeah,
was-
it's up there. Yeah.
yeah.
There's
Roger
Lewis
Federer.
Hamilton's 13.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Neymar. Wow. Neymar is more than wow.
Oh yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
soccer
Are you
kills it.
kidding me? Kirk Cousins.
That's surprising actually.
That's Carson Wentz. What?
Some of these things have changed because Mahomes isn't here because
Yeah,
his
these
deal
guy-
came
yeah.
later. Yeah.
Deal came later,
Yeah.
and this kind of thing.
The other one too. 'Cause I think Mike.
I think year round, these guys are ahead of even these guys. I don't think any of these football guys.
Canelo's not there, and
Yeah.
Canelo would be, or Mayweather would be. So that's
This is. I
it's-
think
it's
it should be
interesting to see that.
worldwide. It should be all time.
well, you
really.
can do that too, but then
Yeah.
it's confusing because then some guys get a head start, and then you like someone like Mahomes at the end of his contract will be worth a lot more than somebody's at. There's Jordan. Woods.
Jordan's nuts. Tiger, still see this. This is why it's different, right? At this point, because these guys have been doing it longer, so you can see their body of work.
Well, it's also different because some of these sports lend themselves to be a better business after you're done the sport.
And
Does that make sense?
Obviously,
Yeah.
bro. You're
Some-
not saying anything
so-
difficult. What
so
I'm saying
something
is
like-
that these guys, some of these sports, you could do. Of course, Tiger's going to be 2 because for this reason, he can do golfing for 40 years.
Yes and no. So, if you scroll up and see the 2 greatest golfers of all time, and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, they're like 3rd and 4th on the list.
Mm-hmm.
They've made a lot of their money outside of the sport because the sport that they're in allows them to do that. So golf is
What do you
among.
mean they'll made it outside their sport?
So you can get into the estate business. You can get into the management. Golf is such a luxury sport that for a lot of these guys, a lot of doors open for them that they can
Mhm.
just get into. Versus like, if you're a football star, there's only so many things you can do after you're done football, feasibly. What are you gonna do? Like,
And some of these guys aren't like from the best parts of the world. Some of these guys are just like you said. A father had Mayweather.
But-
You look at Mayweather.
but at golf,
I guarantee you.
golf, you are at that point, right?
No, I'm
That
saying
comes from- that's what's interesting.
100%, yeah, 100%. But you can't compare a Tiger Woods with like these guys are different as far as I think fans, right? Money might be one thing.
Yeah.
Money might be one thing because it could be marketing. It could be like you said, states.
Mhm.
There's a lot of these clubs that you join.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elites, a lot more elites than I guarantee
Oh no,
you
100%. Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's LeBron is getting across.
That's what I mean by golf. Is it opens so many doors
yeah,
for these
so
guys,
many doors.
right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
someone like Jack Nicklaus has been retired for like fucking 40 years.
And he's best friends with Bezos because they hang out in the same
100%.
fucking
yeah,
country
yeah, yeah.
club.
That's
That's the thing,
that's
bro.
That's what I meant.
yeah,
Like doors
Illuminati, baby.
opening.
Put it up.
yeah,
Let's
get the
go.
fuck out of this podcast.
All right. Okay, Eddie Bravo coming out the
Oh,
fucking
Jesus,
closet.
man, this is why I didn't want to do it.
Shit.
It's my
You
fucking
gotta just look into it.
number one fear.
You gotta look into it. So yeah. So I think what the aspect that we can go into right now is some of these people that actually immigrated over, right, from different
Yeah.
countries to Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
And even those people, there's a lot of those people that their fathers, just like you said, like Lewis Hamilton's dad.
Yeah.
You know, they actually like Lomachenko's dad
Mhm.
was the reason Lomachenko became Lomachenko. Now,
Yeah.
Lomachenko
Sure.
might not be the most paid, but I'll tell you, Lomachenko is probably one of the most skilled and one of the best forms that
How
I've
did you
ever
feel about
seen.
him losing his last fight? Huge upset.
I think he came in flat. His body was flat.
Yeah.
He didn't have the same pep. He didn't have the same. I think something happened as far as family loss, some type of tragedy or something. You
Yeah.
know, this doesn't look like a regular Lomachenko anymore.
Yeah, what happened there, man?
Yeah,
I was
it's,
shocked. I was
I think
absolutely
he
shocked.
might have been overtrained. He might have received the concussions in training. You don't know. You don't know. Some of these guys actually still. Not everybody accepts the George St. Pierre type of training where he doesn't actually do that much sparring. He does drill work.
That's like McGregor too. Actually.
Yeah, a lot of these
Yeah.
boxers actually do legitimate sparring.
No,
and
yeah,
that's-
for sure.
That will carry
that's-
if you get clipped, that carries you in
for
3 weeks
sure,
later.
For sure.
And who knows when he got hit. But yeah, going back to the fact that like coming to Canada, like I don't know, I'm not too familiar with
Sure.
how you were raised.
Yeah.
Or what kind of aspect you got like going back, but like basically sum up to me when you went back after you were born here, right?
Technically, not really. Like
how
close by.
can that
Like close by.
yeah, but you're from the States.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's what I
you,
mean,
but,
like here. Like
yeah.
here is confusing for some
but
people.
you know what I'm saying? You're not by here.
Oh
I
no,
mean
I wasn't born back in my parents' country.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
your roots start with where you were born. So these were your roots. So
Mhm.
your expectation of the world was from here first, then to going back home, and you've obviously
Well,
visited back home, right?
I guess it's like here first with parents second because my parents were so freshly immigrated that they were still who they were when they left, when they raised me, if that makes sense.
Right.
Versus like other people, let's say if you come to Canada at the age, even if you come in late, age of like 15, 20, you'll grow up a bit here, but by the time that you have kids, you'll definitely be like more from here. Versus like when my parents first came here, when I was born is basically when they came here. So they were still very much my parents from Peru and Bolivia for the first, 10 years of my life while they were getting adjusted to like living in Canada.
Yeah.
Versus you get other people have a different situation because like even if I'm born here and someone else is born here, depending on how long their parents have been in the country, I think that makes a difference in how you're raised because you're either gonna
For
remember,
sure.
right? You're gonna take more from your home country or less.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up, like I mentioned, yeah, my parents were pretty fresh when they came here, so it was basically a Peruvian and Bolivian household for the beginning because that's all they knew, right? As they were like learning.
But let's be honest, until you were 5, you're not really picking up these vibes,
I think
right?
I actually think it depends because a lot of who you are now is
Stuff that happened in the past, but
if it's influenced from your very very first beginnings, even if you don't remember it. That's my point.
yeah, I could you could see that.
And they're gonna be subtle things that,
Yep.
because you picked up on it, but it wasn't really,
Nature
like,
versus nurture, man. It's the same argument. Yeah, for sure.
right.
But still, we can agree that how many 5-year-olds actually remember what happened. Now it could have affected them for sure,
Mhm.
but there's a frequency of understanding when you're a child,
Sure.
and this frequency is rising to like an adulthood frequency.
Mhm.
And the closer you get, the more you understand. At some point here, you're gonna hit puberty, and you're gonna understand certain things, and because
Yeah,
of the
no, for
hormones
sure,
and
for
stuff,
sure. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But what I'm saying is, you didn't pick up on this frequency as much as somebody would be as an adult.
Oh, of course not.
So
the
the embarrassment,
There's levels to it.
the embarrassment that you feel as like a young 10,
Mhm.
15,
Yeah.
when you come to the country and you realize how broke you are.
Sure.
That's something you missed out on. So
To a degree.
to a degree, but
I mean,
it might have not
there's levels
affected
to
you.
it.
Yeah,
There's levels
exactly.
to it, man.
Exactly.
Like, listen, I came up in a.
These are all qualitative stuff that we're trying to quantify.
I know it's relative. All it
Yeah.
is just relative. So like, I mean, I came to one of my elementary schools growing up was South Burnaby in a part where some kids were literally refugees. So we had some kids coming in from Iraq,
That's the
fresh.
good thing about Canada. Yeah.
fresh from
Yeah.
Iraq, and we would like be playing games and talking about like
Yeah.
what
So
they're
you
doing.
have more understanding.
And they're like, yeah, my
Yeah.
parents got bombed and shit, and we're like, you want to play soccer? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it was that fresh for some of these people, right?
Mhm.
I mean, for me, not only do I not come from a war-torn country, but I also came from it later. So my separation from it is way more than these kids who are like literally they've been in a refugee camp for 3 weeks and now they're here with us in school. So yeah, absolutely. Like I claim nothing to that, but I do have more of an experience than someone who
And I think you could say you have less insecurity because of it.
yes and what do you mean actually?
Well, if you gotta ask, you don't know about it, right?
Sure, but like
Do you know how that works though? If you gotta ask, you
no,
don't know
no,
about
no,
it.
well,
Because if I say insecurity
about
because of
what,
coming
though?
over,
because it depends. Because I did have some, and I still do have some, but on
there,
certain
I
things.
think there's levels to it. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
you didn't face the immigration problems that everybody faces. For sure, you probably did, but because of the youth, what age you were had succumbed to this, and the situation, it might have been a lot more diluted than other people like the Iraqi kids,
Sure, yeah.
right? So those kids will you would have to, if you had to put money on it, you would say, yeah, 100%, they're gonna have more insecurities.
With regards to like being here.
Yeah.
But so like, here's another interesting thing that
And they stick together, bro. They stick together.
Here's the other interesting thing. I have shared this experience with some people that I know who've come from similar backgrounds that I have. And here's what's interesting. The more in between you are, or the more ambiguous you are, the more varied insecurities you will share. So what does this mean? You just said that, they'll stick together, right? So even as insecure as they are being here, because they're not from here and they're having a hard time assimilating and all this stuff, they still have a group. They got a clan.
Yep.
They got their peoples.
That makes you
that
strong.
will fully accept them because they are the same. They come from they all identify as the same. They all come together all the time. So like you
But
said,
if you separate them, they're flawed.
fine, fair. But here's the
because I've been in those.
I get it, but here's the
those
situation now.
situations.
Someone like me, and I've had other people have shared this as well. When you're like almost like a half immigrant,
Yep.
no one will accept you fully. The people from the country won't fully accept you because you're not from the country. And then your people back home won't accept you either because you are, in their eyes, you are from that other country. So you now live in a world where no one will truly be your peoples.
And that's crucial in elementary school and in high school. Like, as adults, we're slowly starting to forget the social aspect of how it was and what mattered. Things we cared about were insane. You know, some of the high school stuff, like those kids that didn't care, that people, the general high school kid population teenagers would look into them and be like, oh yeah, they're not cool or whatever. Those kids were actually a lot far further developed than the average like cool high school kids.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't care about like social values as much in high school, right? They were thinking about getting good grades. Okay, I'm gonna strive to a certain point, then I'm gonna enjoy the social things that are out there as far as nightlife, whatever. But I think yeah, man, it's regardless if you're not from the place and you are not I think Caucasian or couple of generations into being in Canada or in America or in the Western world where you understand the culture. Your mother grew up as a teenager here as well, so they understand.
Yes.
So everything lines up. You basically shadow your mother's or your
it's a better
father's
setup is what it is too. Yeah,
for sure. Because they know about the rules.
Yeah.
They know about the avenues of schooling. They know about the avenues of things. So it's more likely that they're going to set you up on average to strive. Now, there's the opposite coin, but we're not going to go deep into that. But I think if I had to just sum it up, the same question I asked you initially, I think that my expectations were a lot lower than what it became to be.
About?
You could say I had much less expectations. If I look at it relatively to what I thought I was going to do when I was a kid in Canada, I think I did better.
Oh, okay.
You look at your parents and what they could achieve, and you say, okay, how much further can I fall?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm already ahead.
Yeah, sure.
At a certain point, you're like, I'm already ahead of my mom. I'm in my early 20s or mid 20s or whatever. And yeah, as far as saving money, they might be ahead. But what I'm saying is like your understanding of what's going on surpasses them so fast that within a 3-year span, you know what's going on around you a lot more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it really helps you as far as, I think a few things help you really just get the frequency of the universe and things around you as far as how things work,
Mm-hmm.
how to talk to certain people in a certain way, how to conduct yourself
Yeah.
just for success, right? Within a 3-year span, you surpass your parents. That's what I found out because I didn't come here, super young.
Yeah.
So there was still an understanding. Okay, so this works, this doesn't work. This works, this
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. And I'm going up or I'm going down or what's going on. That I think that's better. Some people though I know they thought they're gonna come here and be fucking millionaires, and they're like working a regular 9 to 5, making like 80 grand or whatever, 70 grand or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're doing that for 30 years, and then they're not fucking happy at all.
Do you think that's part of that's to do with like their education and like the institutions they came from?
Yeah, and I also feel like it came from misinformation of what they think they should do. Okay.
So is that on the is that the fault of the education system and how it's set up? Like, is it more?
Yeah,
like
because now you have private,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a good thing that you brought up. You have private and you have public.
Yes.
And private, the thing with private is like you can turn on the radio here and everywhere in the world, everywhere in at least North America, fucking America and fucking continental states and Canada, you could turn on the radio, TV, fucking any social media, and there's Spradshaw College, there's fucking whatever, UBC, BCIT, VC, fucking Stanford, blah blah blah. There's actual advertisement for these colleges, right? And some of the private ones are strictly business made.
Yes.
Pay us 20 grand
and we will give you a certificate.
Become a phlebotomist.
Yes.
Make $20 an hour, and that's 18 grand.
Phlebotomist? What's a phlebotomist?
You don't know what a phlebotomist is?
No, I know what a lobotomist is.
It's called a MLA. Do you know what a MLA is? It's a medical lab assistant.
That's funny. It's a phlebotomist.
You know what
nurses
nurses do? Nurses take a 2-semester period where they just do catheters and phlebotomy.
Was that your favorite part, the catheters?
This is the thing. I've done these.
Was that your favorite part?
I used to work at the hospital. I've done these practicums. It's a joke, man. I hate working at the hospital. It was so depressing, dog.
Which hospital were you at?
I can't go into this, dog.
Oh, okay.
Can't go into this.
But
But it was in
still under
Vancouver
that NDA.
for sure.
Still under that NDA.
NDA for
That's
sure.
good. That's okay. That's
Who
okay.
knows? Who knows where we go? But it was a big hospital. It was the biggest hospital in Vancouver.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Interesting.
Look into it.
We'll look into it.
Look into it.
Back to this education thing.
Yeah.
What do you think the state of education is now? More.
Well, dude, I mean, look at what's going on with the Asians. They're blaming them for the corona. There's violence going against the Asians with corona.
Yeah.
There is, which I don't agree with, man.
Me neither.
Personally, I've never been around a single. This is not even racist. This is just straight up experience. I've never been around a single Asian in my life where I've been scared or I've thought that they were trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah,
or
man. Shout out to my Asian brothers and sisters, man.
Asians, honestly, with my experience with Asians, there's stuff that every culture does annoying. That aside, I've never had a real problem with an Asian person.
I don't get this whole like.
I've never had a single problem.
Why is this happening right now?
And that's fucked up because it sounds racist, it sounds extremist, but I've never really had a problem with an Asian person. I've never really been like.
I don't think within the
like
context,
personal.
Within the context of what's happening now, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that because I think of.
But driving, yes, I've honked at you and cussed at you a couple times, but I've also done that for my culture as well. I went to North Van one time and fucking just screamed at 200 Iranians and been like, fuck you, man, like you're a disgrace to our culture the way you fucking drive. You have an S-Class but you don't know how to make a left turn. Fuck you. But that aside, it's not personal.
But that's what I mean. I was gonna say I don't think there's anything wrong with not going there, like not talking about it, because I think doing that would just.
Yeah, you're trying to hide something.
It would not only and it wouldn't lead to anything productive.
No,
right?
For what?
Because
you heard about it. This was a while back. They're making it hard for Asians to get into like Ivy League schools.
Did not see this.
Yeah. So what's going on is that when you do the application, they can definitely tell. You put all your information on there.
Yeah, of course.
Where are you from?
Yep.
a guesstimation of where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
Hong Jung Lee isn't from North Carolina.
Sure.
Okay, he's from fucking wherever in Asia or whatever,
Yeah.
Eastern Asian, right? So, that aside, you could say that they're just making it harder for them to get in versus like if you're Caucasian, if you're, you know, you're Spanish or whatever, you tend to say that Caucasians are getting in more likely than Asians, and this
Right,
has actually been shown because they have posted on if you go to this, I don't want to say these sources because it's gonna sound conspiratorial.
It's gone spiritual.
Yeah, or what is that called?
It's gonna sound like a conspiracy.
Yeah, it's gonna sound like a conspiracy theory or like I'm trying to be Eddie Bravo or stuff. But I actually used DuckDuckGo on this stuff, and it's actually shown these two guys,
Mhm.
two guys are like best fucking friends.
Yeah.
One guy applies,
Yeah.
takes a picture
Mm-hmm.
of his application. He details the information that he has, the experience, volunteer work, all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this Asian kid does his buddy who's Asian does the same thing. They apply for the same school for
Right.
the same program.
Right.
The guy had no volunteer experience,
Mm-hmm.
and he got in.
And the
Asian
his buddy
kid
did not.
the Asian kid didn't, and the Asian kid had like 3,000 volunteer hours or
Jesus.
something like this, and they were going for the same. I think they were going for like forestry or something. They were going for like environmental forestry. They were trying to do like
Jesus.
something
Yeah.
along
Yeah.
like agriculture or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck. I don't know what the fuck they would go into, but yeah, man, that's fucked up, man. Cause like you want the best of the best to be there.
Of course.
Whatever
That-
race they
that's
are,
the
we
whole
are
point.
all brothers and sisters.
Well, hey,
you know what I'm
did
saying?
you see the shit about the college admission scandal
No.
in America where so I know there's a thing on Netflix right now and I haven't watched that.
Yeah.
But
What's that one on Netflix called?
it's called the college admission scandal.
Beautiful.
I think so it's, yeah.
Straightforward.
I love when titles just like tell
Shout
you
out.
what it is.
Yeah, man, beautiful. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Well, there's all just conspiracies and shit. People lying to you, government lying to you and shit.
No
it's
need to
nice.
complicate it.
Yeah, it's nice not to get fucking too crazy, man. Yeah,
so,
go on.
So from what I know about it, because I heard about this before they made the Netflix series, is that there was a huge scandal into where they found out that a lot of American institutions were actually straight up taking bribes for parents to get their children into university. So
Wow.
what made it big was that some very well-known Hollywood actresses were doing this for their kids,
Oh yeah.
and there were some people here.
Fucking elitist.
There were some people here in Vancouver actually as well.
Yeah.
There was a couple of bigwigs who did the same thing for their kids, and so it was became a whole thing where
Yeah.
when they found out, started finding
There's
people.
so much of that going on that, man, it almost gets boring, huh?
The biggest one was she actually went to jail. I think she might still be in jail. Look up Full House actress, Full House mom actress actually jail. Look that up. Forget what her name is. Jail. Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin. Let's see a
Serving a-
picture of this biatch.
Yeah. So she paid for her daughter to get into. Her daughter's on the far right.
Far right.
Yeah.
Dime piece.
Certified.
All
She got
due
like-
respect.
She had like a soundbar for that, like a certified.
Yeah.
Certifiable.
Where did you find this? Damn, bruh. What up, what up? You're watching Funny But Foul. Now back to the show.
Like that. What is this? How many
My
joints,
joints?
is this? Yeah.
My joints?
Yeah.
4?
It's decent.
I put a
You put
people
more?
put like 0.7. People put like 0.7 or 0.5 joints. I don't understand that. I've smoked weed with dudes that bring out a joint like this and then fucking it's like half of this. And they're like, "Yo, here." It's so small you can't even put a filter in it.
Yeah, okay.
What the fuck is that?
Mhm.
Either get high or don't. But once you decide to get high, get high.
Okay.
What's the fucking point, man? 100% or nothing.
Anyway,
go
so
fuck
you
yourself.
can't find this in stores?
This fresh? No, because they buy it bulk, right?
Right.
A dispensary will buy 18 pounds in bulk,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care about the legality. The legalities change all the time. Fuck the law. But what I'm saying is this. No disrespect to cops. The laws are so stupid sometimes. Like, so stupid. For guns, for this, it's just, it's overly mandated. and it just puts people that have no desire to do any kind of crime
Yeah.
and label them criminals. It's like, no, man, the guy just wants to. What's the fucking difference? What if I want to make wine and give you a little bit? You buy some of me.
Tax man has to get paid.
Okay, but the tax man has to get paid. But what is the tax man doing for me right now?
A lot.
When I lost my job for a year.
EI.
Yeah.
Didn't you pick up a Corona check at one point?
Hold on. But I'm not making the same, and you're making me not go to work. I'm losing. There's lots of people I know that lost their jobs, houses, whatever.
I get it, but is
So
that
it's not positive.
I get it, but that's. I mean, you're not paying 100% of your salary or tax. Why would you get 100% of
You're
your tax
also
because of
You're
of
also
tax?
paying a lot of it though every year when nothing ever happens.
That's not true at all. What do you mean by nothing ever happens?
Okay. How many of these scenarios do we have where people lose their jobs constantly on a year-to-year basis? How many years have we had that stuff like this
Okay, you
happen?
know what? We're not even gonna. This is gonna be another podcast.
No,
topic.
for
We're
sure,
not
for
doing
sure,
this.
for sure,
This is
100%.
gonna be a whole
No,
thing.
I
If
understand.
I'm gonna get into why I believe that taxes actually do stuff for us, then that's
They
a
do
whole nother
stuff
session.
for us. I'm not saying that.
That's a whole
That's
session.
totally disrespectful to say that. Taxes, it has to be a forefront of giving. But what I'm saying is that the government has a lot of money, correct?
Sure.
Okay, and not every year pandemics like this happen.
Okay.
So they still have a lot of money lying around, and we've been working for however long Canada's been going. The
Depends if-
economy is great, is pretty good. I would say it's
I don't
not
think we're
third
running
world country.
I don't think we're running surplus, but yeah, sure.
Not a lot of countries are
That's what I'm saying. So they don't technically have cash lying around. They're
not lying around, but
most of them are in deficit.
yeah, but business owners are too. Business owners are the same. They have investments into their business, not cash flow. Not a lot, at least. It's not like majority of what's
Okay,
going
so
on.
where are we going with this?
My point is that we give a lot of taxes out there, and I feel like we could literally turn into like one of those like Denmark or Sweden or things like this. Just with taxes, I feel like they can do a little bit better than they have,
Mhm.
and
Those
it's just a little bit sad that like.
those are the three highly most taxed countries in the world, right?
No, I completely understand. I think that they're on an extreme line too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, but I think we are like way back here where, yeah, Canada, man, healthcare is free, all that. That's fucking crazy good.
Yeah.
But we don't even have the best surgeons. There's some surgeries that we can't even do here. I know some people personally that I really don't want to go into because it just make podcast too long.
Yeah.
But they had to have life or death surgeries, and they had to pay like $600,000 out of pocket. That person's dead if they don't have that money, man.
What are
That's simple as that.
600 grand out of pocket here?
No.
Oh, like they went
America.
somewhere to
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. Fair enough.
And that's a lot, right? These
Oh, yeah,
people
for
aren't,
sure.
Think about if your parents had to do something like
Yeah,
this.
100%.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The other side of this is like rich kids that never don't understand this and never have gone through this. The life is such a funny thing. I think that just the way that we see life can be really different
Mm-hmm.
from person to person, and could be totally different world.
Mhm.
It's like a new dimension almost.
Yeah.
Where you've never dealt with what I've dealt. I'm not saying you particularly. I'm
No, yeah,
just
sure.
saying
No, I got you.
anybody.
I got you.
And you got kids right now that are 18 years old, and their demands out of the parents are, $100,000 cars,
Yeah.
$800,000 cars, and I just don't know what the future holds
$100,000
because
cars.
men follow
$2,000
women.
nails. Fucking
Men follow women. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. You do what you do to get a girl,
Mhm.
right? You strive to be the best. There's a success rate, and opposites attract. I'm not a girl, so I can't say that that's the same for girls.
Sure.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Okay,
Who
okay.
knows? But when you look at that and you see like how much more gold diggers are out there right now? You think more or less from your mother's time?
More for sure.
Doesn't that scare you?
Not really. It's natural. There's more wealth in the world in an extreme, like it is a multiplier higher than what it used to be. So it's only natural.
Yeah.
There has to be more. If there's more money, shit. It's like anything. People will just follow the money.
But it's not only that. It's like with the gold digging comes like a ratchetry, right? And that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
word I just fucking made up out of my ass, I think.
It is.
But it's just it's not ghetto-ness, it's ho-ness. And I'm not talking about just women. I'm talking about men too. There's a ho-ness to men. The loyalty is down. You know, if these were actual stats, you would show loyalty is down, way down for the last 50 years.
Loyalty stat in the world is down.
Loyalty stats are down.
Loyalty stats are down.
Right?
That's a good one.
So,
Should have, instead of like a money report, have a loyalty report.
yeah, man.
We should do that.
30 seconds. Hey,
know
guys, loyalty's still down.
If
All right, back to you, Bob.
Listen, if the people want it, we will make a separate podcast just about loyalty. We'll go at week to week loyalty reports.
How long is it going to be? Like 7 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. And, back to you, Armand.
Yeah. All right, Tim. So yeah, man, I think as we grow older, we realize that these things are changing. And look at Japan, man. Marriage rates like way down.
Everything's there. Everything to do with like
and
families and fertility and
yeah,
it's just down there.
Yeah, up. And Japan, I could argue is socially they're very advanced because they have an understanding, and you can probably speak on this better than I can. But they have an understanding of politeness all across.
Some of their customs are definitely sure.
You can do anything there. There's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of rules that are very advancedly placed, like futuristic wise. That's a fucking word I made up. So
it's okay, we won't correct your
words. 2 for 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that if we look at like countries that are very well developed, much more than Canada, as far as age, as far as, you know, time and culture.
Yeah.
You look at them and they're in a decline as far as marriage, as far as you know, fertility.
Yeah.
As far as all these like degrees of their culture.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you say, fuck, where are we headed? Because we don't have the same population.
Yeah.
So if we are on a decline, like we're on a real decline, people don't really think about that. People don't really think about it. I think as, you know, climate changes and stuff, we're gonna see a lot of more of these catastrophic environmental damages that happens to us, on people killed and stuff like that. And also, you know, pandemics like this cause a lot of, you know, mental handicaps towards people. You know, some people are on just the brinks.
Yeah, that's true.
Regularly.
Absolutely.
And when these things happen, boom, that just tips them over the edge. And all these shootings and stuff. And, you know, that's where I go back to the guns. You know, again, full circle daddy, right? That's what they call me, full circle. Because you go back to...
Seems kind of gross, actually. Full circle daddy?
It depends, man. It depends.
Like full circle?
Know, full circle, bro. Like just full circle. So yeah, so
that's a good way to wrap right there.
Yeah. So just a quick thing. It's scary to me where we're headed. I think that all you could do is be the best that you can be. But there's some things that are just, you're like, fuck, man. What if one day I have a kid and then he comes out here and he's got it worse than me, son, and I thought I'm giving him an opportunity, whereas I'm just fucking torturing this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's got to pay taxes for like 80 years. What if he's not suicidal? He doesn't want to kill himself. He just wants to fucking do the slow suicide for 80 years working like a regular fucking job. What then? 30% fucking immigration keeps fucking him up.
Jesus, dude.
Anyways, this has been a good one.
It has.
Me and my boy Hector
did some modern improvements. We got a semi-permanent setup now, actually, for the camera, which is really nice.
Every week, man. This is what we preach, and this is what we do.
1% bet every day.
1% every day. So that's 7% a week, daddy. 365 a year, and the next thing you know, you're fucking Elon. You're Elon, and you're going hard, and you got the Roadster coming up. You seen that fucking Roadster?
Oh yeah.
1.9 seconds. I can't even bust a nut that quick. Imagine. All right, boys.
With that,
that's it. Catch us next week.
Next week
with the boys, and we're out.